Hi, I'm Jim Bergeron, pastor at Holy Cross Lutheran Church in Houston, Texas, and this is the Sermon for All Saints Sunday, Luke 6, 2026, Blessings and Woes. Having left for San Francisco after my last college freshman final, I felt like I was free. Free from family obligations, free from the rural ethos of central Kansas. The door was open, but coming back home wasn't in my plan. Tom Waits would eventually pen the song, Ain't got no spare, ain't got no jack, ain't got no care, ain't coming back. Free at last from stifling conservatism, I look forward to the joys and challenges of cultural diversity. I was free to get rich at West Coast jobs while establishing residency so I could study general semantics, paid for by the state of California for free under Professor S.I. Hayakawa at San Francisco State University. Future looked bright. All of those freedoms rapidly became slaveries. Good jobs were scarce. I got some temp work at Raychem in Menlo Park, provided bare subsistence for the three travelers from Kansas with big dreams. I woke up. Carl and Jeff were still dreaming when I left. 2 months was enough for me. 2 months as sole provider, 2 months of panhandling, dumpster diving, hitchhiking, hunger, and worry. It was a moment of biblical deja vu when I woke up and said to myself, I'm tired of feeding these pigs. I'm going home. Talk to Dad about my dismal future in menial labor. You just never know. The woes are out there. I hitched from Redwood City to San Jose Airport. It's a popular place for small aircraft towing gliders up into the Bay Area thermals and cutting them loose to silently wheel and float their way back to Earth. Befriending the pilots, I discovered through the flight school that the gliding was a pretty expensive hobby, not one I'd ever use, but there were many fledgling pilots in need of flight time hours to perfect their skills. They'd take me up for gas money. A couple hours to Salt Lake City, a couple more to Denver, final leg into Salina, Kansas, Schilling Air Force Base, where Dwight D. Eisenhower would land every time he came home to Abilene, Kansas. If everything clicked, it could be a 2 day trip and a lot safer than the highway. When I landed in Salina, I was 20 miles from home. A local call. Hey, Mom, I'm at Schilling. Can someone come get me? There were shrieks and hollering. Andy, Jim's back. Now, Dad hated the phone, but he grabbed it and tersely said, Hey, boy, I'm on my way. Where do you want to eat? Well, I'd been dreaming about a ham sandwich from PJ's for a month. Okay, the fatted pig it'll be, he said. And by the way, while I trounce you at a game of pool, we can talk about how you're going to help me the rest of the summer. I didn't even get to make my speech. That went, like, I'll do whatever you want. Yes, sir, I'll do anything, even baling hay, 14 hours a day, till my forearms cramped into frog knots. Supper with Dad was like communion, the feast of the fatted hog. I told him about San Francisco. He told me about how the wheat harvest went. We talked about Raychem Plastics. He worked for Certainteed Plastics. We worked for sister companies. And then came his proposition. Mom's going to school for 2 weeks at Morehead State University for continuing ed hours. That's in Kentucky. She's going in a few days. I can't go. Now I'm worried about her driving all that way alone. Would you mind driving her? It's music education and a music camp. Take your French horn, pick up 6 hours credit, make your transcript look better. What do you say? There I had been in one of the richest, most cosmopolitan urban areas in the world, poor, hungry, crying, and reviled. I was headed toward one of the poorest, most depressed Appalachian rural areas in the world, and I was rich, full, laughing, and successful, all within days. Few weeks of an amazing summer. You just never know. Mom and I went to the top of the arch in St. Louis. We went to the bottom of the Mammoth Cave and then on to Moorhead, nestled in the misty Kentucky mountains. I practiced French horn until my face was numb, read Cosmic Consciousness by William Buck, Varieties of Religious Experience by William James, and rambled for hours each day in the woods, wilds, and holders of Kentucky. I got some of the more adventurous guys from the brass sections of the camp orchestra and explored an old tour cave that had been abandoned due to dangerous conditions. We found long, smooth limestone chutes in the cave with water sluicing through them. We lowered a fat backpack on a rope down a chute until we knew it was clear, and then a smooth chute all the way out to the cave, out of the cave. Pulling the backpack up, we'd stand on it, hop in for the ride of a lifetime. The idea was if you got stuck, your buddies could pull you out with the rope tied to the backpack you were standing on. The first time I came flying out of the cave with a huge splash into a clear water pool, I scattered a small congregation of sunning copperheads. We had poles with forked ends to keep snakes at bay, and we'd spank the water with towels to send them slithering downstream. When you're baptizing in a river, take a note. Spanking upstream is always a good idea. Other afternoons, I'd drive deep into the mountains, hike with a topographical map from the Forest Service to remote lakes, which usually had shacks or cabins or small settlements of people. I had fresh fruit in my backpack. Often, someone would be picking up on a banjo or a homemade guitar, dulcimer, mandolin. I'd sit and listen, maybe join in on harmonica. Offered shine, I'd accept, knowing that rejection of mountain hospitality could be a dangerous mistake. I'd leave some money and fruit for safe passage and hike back out to another band rehearsal. My French horn teacher had walked out of the hills to go to school, leaving his birth family and home behind for a high school and college education. I told him what I'd been doing, and he'd shake his head and cluck and say, "You're lucky they didn't shoot you for a revenue. Luckily, you have facial hair the feds don't. You were too close to a lot of stills." I said, "Well, we've been going to that old cave too, that tour cave." He said, "You better stay out of there. They closed it down. The woods are full of snakes." I said, "Well, yes, sir. We figured that one out fairly quick." It was a highly structured music camp with grueling rehearsals, boot camp practice sessions, and extreme personal self-discipline. Ironically, it was two of the freest weeks I'd ever experienced. You just don't know. And I like Luke's take on Jesus' sermon to the multitude. Oppositionally to Matthew's Jesus, who's kind of a rabbi, who sermonizes on the Mount to bring a new law to the new state of Israel, the new wrestlers with God. Luke places Jesus preaching on a plain, on a level place, where all who approach are also on the level. In Luke 6, Jesus is talking to a crowd of mixed Jews and pagans. They don't usually mix. Replete with diseases and demons, all equalized on the plain. As the crowd surges and jostles each other to give everyone a chance to touch him, power surges out from Jesus and touches and heals. And he speaks those strange words of blessing and woe. Poor is going to get more. What does rich have to look forward to? Less, of course. Hunger will get you full. Full will make you probably miserable. Plus, you still know you're going to get hungry again later. Cry now, it's okay. Laughing will come, but you can't laugh forever either. Speak the truth. It'll make folks mad. Be happy. You'll be in good company with the prophets you'll be doing something right. Tell easy lies that make folks happy, and, well, they'll brag on you for what that's worth. You're in company with the liars and soothsayers. Simple statements, powerful aphorisms. You just never know. Poor to rich is an economic continuum. Hungry to full, biological. Weeping to laughing is an emotional continuum. Revulsion to acceptance is a social state. We all exist somewhere on those ranges. Our location at any given moment, the good news is temporary. We're not solid state organisms. Rocks are. We're not. We live in a flux. We are part of a wave that continues on. We live in constant process. It was a full prodigal summer, 1968. Luke's Beatitudes in action all over the map, economically, biologically, emotionally, and socially. Poor and rich, urban and rural, sad and happy, hungry and full. From the top of Mount Tamalpais to the bottom of Mammoth Cave, I heard Janis Joplin, Iron Butterfly, Jefferson Airplane, MC5, and two or three toothless guys under a shade tree doing a bluegrass moan. Played music with them and drank in their hospitality. Then went back to the university to a struggle with the French horn part in Howard Hanson's symphony. Life is replete with blessings and woes. But no matter where you are in that range of experience, the breath of God flows through you, and the grace of Christ welcomes you home and builds you up for new mission. Blessings and woes, you never know. Amen.